What if I told you that the Garden of Eden, could it be not just an ancient tale but a real place, hidden for millennia? Scientists and archaeologists believe they are closer than ever to a discovery that could change everything we know about the Bible and human history. But there is something that no one expected. A detail that could shake their beliefs and reveal secrets that have been hidden for centuries. Now just imagine. A sacred place, described in the Bible as the cradle of humanity. A true paradise, lost full of rivers with crystal clear waters, leafy trees, and a divine presence that guided Adam and Eve. But if Eden really existed, where is he now? Had it been destroyed, hidden, or sealed by forces beyond human understanding? What do the Holy Scriptures tell us about its location? And most importantly, does the modern science finally found evidence that this place could be more than a simple legend? In recent years, archaeologists and researchers have explored some of the oldest places in the world, examining old maps, historical records, and even satellite images to try to find traces of the original paradise. And what they discovered may leave you speechless. The clues are everywhere, in the Middle East, in submerged plains, and even in remote regions that defy any logical explanation. Ancient reports written in clay tablets and papyrus speak of a fertile land surrounded by 4 rivers, exactly as described in the book of Genesis. But could these places be linked to the real Garden of Eden? And there's more. Our planet holds secrets that defy human understanding, and many believe that some of these revelations were already foreseen in the Scriptures. So what does biblical archaeology have to say about this incredible discovery? What scientists and theologians discovered that it can challenge everything we thought we knew? If you want to understand the mystery behind this possible discovery, get ready, because what comes next could be the most stunning revelation about one of the Bible's greatest enigmas. But before revealing this discovery shocking, I need to make you a request. Don't let this knowledge remain hidden. If science is finally unraveling the secrets of the Garden of Eden, imagine how many others biblical truths may still be hidden, waiting to be revealed. Did you know that many mysteries of the Bible, have they already been found by archaeologists and almost no one talks about it? Entire cities mentioned in Scripture, forgotten temples, tombs, and sacred artifacts. All of this was lost to time and is now being discovered. But if these revelations are not shared, we run the risk that these secrets will remain buried forever. And that's exactly why you need to be part of this mission. Click the like button right now, because this helps this content reach more people interested in biblical mysteries. And subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any of the upcoming revelations. Here, we go beyond the obvious. Now, get ready, because the evidence we are going to show you could be the missing piece to unravel humanity's greatest mystery. What if I told you that the Garden of Eden might not just be an ancient tale, but a real place, hidden for millennia? Scientists and archaeologists believe they are closer than ever to a discovery that could change everything we know about the Bible and human history. But there's something no one expected, a detail that could shake their beliefs and reveal secrets that have been hidden for centuries. Now just imagine a sacred place, described in the Bible as the cradle of humanity, a true lost paradise filled with rivers of crystal clear waters, leafy trees, and a divine presence that guided Adam and Eve. But if Eden really existed, where is it now? Had it been destroyed, hidden, or sealed by forces beyond human understanding? What do the sacred scriptures tell us about its location, and most importantly, has modern science finally found proof that this place may be more than just a legend? According to Genesis 2:10-14, from the middle of Eden flowed a river that divided into 4 branches, Pishon, Gihon, Tigris, and Euphrates. But here the big question arises. If Eden existed physically, where are these rivers today? The Tigris and Euphrates still exist and flow through the Middle East, more specifically through modern-day Iraq, Turkey, and Syria. But what about Pishon and Gihon? Did they simply disappear, or were they hidden beneath the sands of time? Many researchers have already tried to answer this question, and over the years, several theories have been raised. Some indicate that Pissum may have been a river that existed in Saudi Arabia, meandering through a dry valley that thousands of years ago could have been a lush oasis. The Gihon, according to some hypotheses, could have been a watercourse that passed through Jerusalem, associated with the famous Pool of Siloam, where later Jesus performed miracles. But are these hypotheses sufficient to determine where the Garden of Eden was located? Or are we interpreting these clues wrongly? If there's anything that makes this mystery even more intriguing, it's that the Bible itself never mentions that Eden was destroyed, only that it was sealed by God with cherubim and a flaming sword to prevent man from returning. Does this mean he could somehow still exist in some hidden place on earth? Some scholars argue that geological changes over the centuries may have completely modified the landscape, burying or diverting these rivers, which would explain the difficulty of finding them today. And if we go even deeper into this investigation, we find something even more surprising. Satellite images reveal that there are traces of ancient underground riverbeds, which may indicate that these waterways did not disappear completely, but were buried over the millennia. One of the most impressive is an identified dry bed in the Arabian desert, which many believe to be the ancient Pissum River. If this theory is confirmed, then we could be closer than ever to finding traces of Eden. But what if we are thinking about this wrong? What if the geography of Eden was not static, but a place that moved throughout history? Several scholars have proposed that the events of Noah's flood could have drastically modified the Earth's landscape, altering or even erasing any trace of the Garden of Eden. In this case, trying to locate it geographically could be an impossible mission, as it would simply no longer be in the same location as originally described. Another intriguing theory suggests that Eden was not a physical place, but rather a spiritual dimension. Some apocryphal texts and theological interpretations indicate that Eden could be a celestial kingdom, a place that was separated from Earth after the fall of humanity. This would explain why no one has ever been able to find it, and why its location remains one of the Bible's greatest mysteries. But if this is the case, what can we understand about the clues left in the book of Genesis? Are the names of rivers just symbolic, or do they really point to a specific location on Earth? The fact is that the search for the Garden of Eden is not just an archaeological or theological question, but also a journey through time and faith. Scientists continue to study geological records, while historians analyze ancient manuscripts for hidden clues. Could we be on the verge of a major discovery? Or will Eden forever remain an unfathomable mystery? Now I want to know your opinion. Do you believe that the Garden of Eden can still be found? Or do you think it has been lost forever? Comment below. Eden existed if you believe it was a physical place, or Eden is spiritual if you think it was never on Earth. Let's debate together. The search for the Garden of Eden has never been as intense as it is today. The advancement of technology, satellite images, and archaeological research has brought new hope to those who believe that this place described in the Bible may have been real, and who knows, still exists in some form. But where exactly are scientists and archaeologists looking? What do the latest discoveries tell us about this historic hunt? Are we about to witness one of the greatest biblical revelations of all time? Researchers have turned their eyes to regions of Middle East and Africa, analyzing not only ancient maps and historical records, but also geological evidence that may reveal traces of a land that may once have been the Garden of Eden itself. In Iraq, for example, rivers Tigris and Euphrates, mentioned in the Bible as two of the four rivers that began in Eden, still flow through the landscape, surrounded by ruins of ancient civilizations that dominated the region millennia ago. However, the other two rivers, Pissum and Gihon, are a true mystery. Some scientists believe that they may be buried under layers of sand and rock, hidden by time and geological transformations that have occurred over the centuries. One of the most intriguing studies points to the Arabian Peninsula, where traces of ancient riverbeds have been identified using satellite images. There is strong evidence that the Pissam River may have flowed through this region thousands of years ago, forming a vast oasis in the middle of the desert. This would fit perfectly with biblical descriptions that speak of a land rich in gold and precious stones, characteristics associated with the Pishon River in the Genesis account. But what about Gihon? Some hypotheses suggest that it may have been a river that flowed near Jerusalem, which would place Eden in a completely different position than we imagine. Another line of investigation suggests that the Garden of Eden may be submerged. Some researchers believe it may have been swallowed by the Persian Gulf, a region that, in ancient times, may have been a fertile and habitable land. If this is true, any trace of Eden would today be under meters of water, requiring advanced technologies for exploration. This theory has gained traction based on geological studies that indicate that during the last ice age, this area may have been a lush valley before being flooded by rising sea levels. And it doesn't stop there. Another fascinating discovery came from the region of Ethiopia, where some scholars point to an ancient riverbed that may be connected to the mysterious Gihon River. This theory suggests that Eden could have extended into this part of Africa, connecting to a fertile and prosperous land that existed thousands of years ago. There are those who believe that biblical references to Eden may be connected to the ancient civilization of Egypt or even the mythical kingdom of Sheba. What is striking is that, regardless of the exact location, there is a pattern in recent discoveries. They all indicate the existence of highly developed civilizations in the same regions where scholars believe Eden may have existed. This raises an intriguing question. Was the Garden of Eden in fact an isolated paradise? Or could it have been an advanced civilization that disappeared over time? This possibility could explain the riches described in the Bible, the abundance of water, and even the superior knowledge that would have been passed on to the first generations of humanity. Furthermore, modern science has analyzed ancient documents and historical records from different cultures, looking for connections that can strengthen these hypotheses. Mesopotamian civilizations, such as the Sumerians, had accounts of a paradisiacal garden where the first men lived in harmony with the gods before being expelled. Interestingly, these stories bear many similarities to the biblical account of Adam and Eve, which makes some scholars believe that all these narratives may be talking about the same place, the true Garden of Eden. But if this place really existed, why was it never found? Some believe that after the fall of humanity, God may have sealed the Garden of Eden in a way that made it invisible to human eyes. This idea is supported by the Bible itself, which mentions the presence of cherubim and a flaming sword protecting the path to the tree of life. This has led some people to speculate that Eden could no longer be on this physical plane, but rather in another dimension, inaccessible to us. This theory may seem far from conventional science, but there are those who believe that advances in quantum physics and the study of the dimensions of the universe could, in the future, bring surprising answers about the existence of this place. Meanwhile, biblical archaeology continues its tireless quest, exploring ruins, excavating sacred sites, and analyzing ancient documents. If the Garden of Eden is buried beneath layers of earth or submerged beneath water, will we ever be able to find it? Or does its true meaning go far beyond geographic location? Now I want to know your opinion. Do you believe that the Garden of Eden could be hidden somewhere on the planet, waiting to be rediscovered? Or do you think he has already been erased from history? Comment below. Eden still exists if you believe it can be found, or Eden is lost if you think it has been forever erased by time. Let's debate and continue this investigation together. Throughout history, several theories have tried to explain where the Garden of Eden would be, but now we have reached a crucial point in this investigation. If before the searches seemed to be based only on ancient texts and conjectures, today we have something much more solid, scientific and archaeological evidence that can transform everything we know. But the most impressive thing is that this evidence points to unexpected places, which may be hiding one of humanity's greatest secrets. What you are about to discover may challenge everything we thought we knew about the origins of man and biblical accounts. Let's start with the most traditional hypothesis, the one that has been debated among scholars and theologians for centuries. The possibility that Eden was in Mesopotamia, a region that today corresponds to present-day Iraq and parts of Iran. This theory gains strength because the Tigris and the Euphrates, two of the 4 rivers mentioned in the book of Genesis, still exist and flow through the region. And there is an important detail. Historical records indicate that Mesopotamia was the cradle of the first known civilizations, including the Sumerians, who had mythological accounts of a paradisiacal garden very similar to the Eden described in the Bible. But is this really the place where it all began? The answer is not so simple. If Eden was in Mesopotamia, what happened to the other 2 rivers mentioned in Genesis, the Pishon and the Gihon? Many archaeologists have tried to answer this question, and some recent evidence suggests that these rivers may not have disappeared completely, but rather have been diverted or buried by geological changes over the millennia. This leads us to another surprising theory. The Garden of Eden may be submerged in the Persian Gulf. This hypothesis has gained strength in recent years, with analyses of satellite images and geological studies that indicate that thousands of years ago, the Persian Gulf may have been a fertile, inhabited region full of rivers. Some researchers believe that rising sea levels after the end of the last ice age flooded this area, burying what may once have been Eden. If this is true, it would mean that the Garden of Eden was not destroyed by time or catastrophic events, but simply swallowed by the waters, making its location inaccessible to any earthly search. This would also explain why, to this day, we have not been able to find concrete traces of this sacred place. But what really draws attention is that there is evidence that some of the first human civilizations emerged exactly in the region around the Persian Gulf. This raises an intriguing question. Could the biblical accounts of Eden actually be distant memories of a time when the first humans lived in a true paradise, before being forced to migrate due to climate and geological changes? And more than that, did the Tree of Life and the Tree of Knowledge represent not just spiritual symbols, but something real that was lost when this land was taken by water? And then we come to a third possibility that few consider, but which has gained strength. Among some researchers, the hypothesis that Eden may be in a secret region in Africa. This theory is based on the fact that, according to some interpretations, the Gihon River may have been a river that passed through Ethiopia, connecting Eden to Africa. If that's true, we've been looking in the wrong place this whole time. Some recent archaeological discoveries indicate that some of the most fertile and ancient areas on Earth may be there, hiding traces of a past that defies modern understanding. And we cannot forget that many scientists consider Africa to be the cradle of humanity, where the first modern humans emerged. This raises an even more intriguing question. Is the story of the Garden of Eden actually linked to our own origins as a species? Could Eden be a real place where the first men lived before they began to spread throughout the world? If this is true, then perhaps the expulsion from Eden was not just a spiritual event, but also a moment in history when the first humans were forced to leave this fertile and safe place to face a much more hostile world. The most impressive thing about all of this is that, regardless of which of these theories is true, they all point to one fact in common. The Garden of Eden was described as a real place, linked to historically rich and fertile regions, and which somehow disappeared over time. But will we ever be able to find it? Or has your location been intentionally hidden forever? Now I want to know your opinion. Among all these theories, which one makes the most sense to you? Was Eden in Mesopotamia? Was it swallowed by the Persian Gulf? Or was it in a secret region in Africa? Comment below. Eden is in Mesopotamia. If you believe the first theory, Eden is underwater. If you think it was swallowed by the sea, or Eden is in Africa, if you believe it could have been on another continent. I want to know which of these possibilities intrigues you the most. What if we are making a fundamental mistake in searching for the Garden of Eden? What if, Instead of being a physical location lost somewhere in the world, it was always present in a way we can't understand. This possibility may seem abstract at first glance, but as we explore theological, philosophical, and even symbolic theories, we begin to realize that the idea of a physical Eden may not be the only possible interpretation. The Garden of Eden described in the Bible could be much more than a patch of land lost to time, and its true location may not be something that can be found with archaeological excavations or satellite images. Perhaps it was never truly lost, but merely forgotten or inaccessible by conventional means. Many scholars, both within theological circles and in the field of philosophy, argue that Eden can be interpreted as a state of purity and harmony that existed before the fall of humanity. In this case, paradise would not be a specific place on earth, but rather a spiritual state in which humanity lived in perfect communion with God. This theory is based on the idea that original sin not only expelled Adam and Eve from a physical garden, but also separated them from a higher condition of existence, a kind of reality where there was no suffering, fear, or death. This view would reinforce the idea that Eden cannot be found because it was never a geographic location, but rather a symbol of something that humanity has lost internally. This interpretation is reinforced by several biblical passages that indicate that true Eden may be far beyond physical reach. In Genesis, for example, after the expulsion of Adam and Eve, a cherub with a flaming sword was placed to guard the way to the tree of life. But if Eden were just a geographic location, what need would there be for a spiritual guardian to prevent the return? This detail may suggest that the Garden of Eden is something that cannot be accessed just by traveling to a specific point on the planet, as it belongs to a different reality than the one we live in today. Additionally, some more mystical Jewish and Christian traditions suggest that Eden still exists, but in a hidden dimension from which humanity has been removed. This concept is present in some currents of esoteric thought, which claim that the Garden of Eden could be a kind of parallel paradise, a spiritual realm where the divine presence is still fully manifest. This point of view is echoed in other religions and philosophies that talk about higher planes of existence, celestial realms, or elevated states of consciousness. The expulsion from Eden, according to this line of reasoning, would not have been just a physical event, but a transition of humanity from a state of pure consciousness to a reality corrupted by sin and separation from God. Some more modern interpretations connect this idea with studies on the human mind and psychology. There are those who argue that Eden represents a state of innocence and plenitude that humanity has lost over time, something that can be understood as a universal archetype present in the collective unconscious. Carl Jung, one of the great names in psychology, spoke about the existence of universal symbols shared by all cultures, and the concept of a primordial paradise is one of those archetypes that appears in the mythologies of different peoples throughout history. This means that the Garden of Eden can be much more than a physical location or a biblical story. It can represent something deeply rooted in the human psyche, a longing for a time when everything was perfect and balanced. If we take this idea further, we could ask, is Eden in some way within us? What if the search for the Garden of Eden is not about finding a location in the physical world, but rather rediscovering a state of harmony and spiritual connection that humanity has lost? This theory could explain why so many ancient cultures have legends about a lost paradise and a golden time when gods walked among men. Perhaps the true Eden is an ancestral memory engraved in human consciousness, an echo of a time when we were closer to our divine essence. And there is another intriguing detail. Many scriptures talk about a future time when this paradise will be restored. In the book of Revelation, for example, there are mentions of a new earth and a return to the presence of God, where there will be no more pain, suffering, or separation. This leads us to question whether the Garden of Eden, rather than being a thing of the past, might actually be in the future, a state that has yet to be restored when humanity finally regains its lost connection with the divine. If this interpretation is correct, it would mean that the search for Eden is not just an archaeological matter, but also a spiritual journey that involves the transformation of humanity itself. Regardless of which approach we take, one thing is certain. The mystery of the Garden of Eden continues to fascinate people around the world. It may be a physical place buried beneath layers of earth, a hidden realm in a dimension we cannot access, or a state of consciousness that humanity has lost and is still trying to recover. But the big question remains, will we one day have definitive answers to this mystery? Or is the true secret of Eden beyond our understanding? Now I want to know your opinion. Do you believe that Eden was a real place, lost in some corner of the world? Or do you think it is something much greater, a spiritual or symbolic state that humanity left behind? Comment below. Eden is physical, if you believe it can be found, or Eden is spiritual, if you think it represents a state of connection with the divine. I want to know which of these possibilities makes the most sense for you. If science were truly on the verge of confirming the existence of the Garden of Eden, the implications would be profound and would drastically change our view of human history, the scriptures, and even the role of biblical archaeology in the modern world. Confirmation that Eden was a real physical location, accurately described in biblical texts, would not just be an ordinary archaeological discovery, but rather a revolution in the understanding of human origins and the credibility of sacred narratives. This would put the Bible on a new level not only as a book of faith, but also as a historical document of incalculable value. Imagine the impact of a discovery like this. If the geological, archaeological, and textual evidence pointed to a specific location that matched the description of Eden, this could be seen as one of the greatest proofs of the authenticity of Scripture ever recorded. Many people over the centuries have argued that the events described in the Bible were just metaphors, but the revelation that a place as significant as Eden actually existed would break this narrative and strengthen the belief of millions of people. The very nations that are home to these sites could become centers of pilgrimage and study, attracting researchers, religious people, and curious people from all over the world to see with their own eyes the place where, according to biblical tradition, humanity began. But confirmation of Eden would also raise a new set of questions about what really happened to this place. If it was a physical location, why was it lost? What actually caused its destruction or concealment? Could it have been just natural processes, such as climate change, earthquakes, and floods? Or was there a greater reason linked to biblical events such as Noah's flood? This possibility would lead humanity to further explore sacred texts in search of other confirmations, which could spur a new era of archaeological discoveries related to the sites mentioned in the Bible. And it wouldn't just be the past that would be affected by this revelation. Science has already proven that there are records of ancient civilizations in places that fit the description of Eden, such as Mesopotamia and submerged regions in the Persian Gulf. But what many don't consider is the possibility that some of the secrets of this place may still be buried, waiting to be uncovered. Artifacts, ancient inscriptions, hidden documents. If we find the Garden of Eden, will we also find ancient knowledge that can change our understanding of human history? What if Eden really is a physical location, and there are traces of its former glory such as ruins, structures, or even signs of an advanced civilization that lived there before humanity spread across the world? This could mean that Eden was not just a lush garden, but rather a center of knowledge and spirituality, much more advanced than we imagine. Some theorists speculate that if there was a place where humanity had direct contact with God, perhaps there was some type of divine knowledge there, something that was lost with the expulsion of Adam and Eve and that, to this day, remains hidden. Another question that could arise from this discovery is what it would mean for the future of humanity. If Eden really existed, then we may be closer than ever to understanding not only where we came from, but also where we are going. The Bible talks about a time of restoration, a return to the presence of God, a new heaven and a new earth where there will be no more suffering. Could this prophecy be connected to Eden itself? Would finding this place mean we are closer to that time of redemption? And what about the political and religious consequences of such a discovery? If a site is identified as the true Garden of Eden, disputes may arise over who has the right to preserve and study it. Would it be considered a World Heritage Site?
Would it be controlled by any specific nation? And what would this mean for those who have always seen the Bible as just a book of metaphors? The confirmation of Eden as a real place could be a watershed moment, forcing many to reevaluate their
beliefs about the origins of man and the role of faith in modern society. Furthermore, this discovery could profoundly impact science. Archaeology, geology, and history would be transformed by the fact that one of humanity's greatest mysteries would finally be solved. New investigations could be conducted, seeking answers to other biblical enigmas, such as the location of Noah's Ark, the true city of Sodom and Gomorrah, or even the physical evidence of the Exodus of the Hebrews. All of this could result in a new phase in the relationship between science and religion, where the search for answers would no longer be a conflict between faith and evidence, and would become a joint journey to better understand humanity's past. And then comes the big question. What if Eden was never really lost? If your location has always been accessible in some way, but humanity simply didn't have the knowledge or resources to see it? Is there something more than just a geographical location hidden between mountains, deserts, or under the ocean? Perhaps the true key to finding Eden lies not only in technology and science, but also in a return to our origins, the way we live, the way we connect with the world and the divine. Perhaps the search for Eden is not just a question of geography, but an inner search, a call for humanity to reflect on what was lost and needs to be restored. Now I want to know your opinion. If science does confirm the existence of the Garden of Eden, what would that mean for you? Do you believe this would strengthen the veracity of the Bible and change our understanding of history? Or do you think this discovery would raise even more questions about what really happened to this sacred place? Comment below, Eden proves the Bible, if you believe that this discovery would be a historical proof of the Scriptures. Or Eden still keeps secrets, if you think there is much more to be discovered beyond its location. I want to know your opinion about this possible revelation that could change everything we know. At this point, after exploring all of these possibilities, it is clear that the Garden of Eden remains one of humanity's greatest mysteries. The evidence points in different directions, and each theory raises new questions that make us reflect on the true meaning of this lost paradise. But now I want to know your opinion. Given everything we discussed, what do you believe? Was Eden a physical location that actually existed, or did it represent something much greater, a spiritual or symbolic reality? If science really were about to confirm its existence, would that change the way you view the Bible and the history of humanity? And more than that, if the Garden of Eden was a real place, why would God have allowed it to become inaccessible? Will humanity ever be worthy of finding Him again? Many people believe that Eden will be restored in the future, as a reflection of the new earth mentioned in the book of Revelation. Others believe that it can never be accessed again, as it has been sealed forever. Which of these interpretations makes the most sense to you? If this video impacted you in any way and made you reflect on the mystery of the Garden of Eden, then you need to subscribe to the channel right now. Here we're always exploring the deepest mysteries of the Bible, revealing hidden secrets and connecting faith with surprising discoveries. And if you want to continue following these investigations, subscribe now and activate the bell so you don't miss any of the next videos. I know you've made it this far, so that means you're someone who truly seeks knowledge and wants to understand more about the riddles of history and scripture. So I want to know, what was the moment in this video that surprised you the most? Comment here below. I want to know more biblical mysteries, so I know you watched until the end and are ready to continue this journey with me. Also leave a like, because this helps this video reach more people who, like you, want to understand the mysteries hidden in the Bible. And share this content with someone you know would also be fascinated by this investigation. And now that we've uncovered some of the secrets of the Garden of Eden, get ready, because we're about to dive into another one of the Bible's great mysteries. There is a place mentioned in Scripture that has defied human knowledge for centuries. A grand structure that would have been built to reach the heavens, but was mysteriously interrupted, causing an event that changed the history of humanity forever. What happened to this enigmatic construction? Could it be possible that traces of it still exist? Researchers believe they may have found its exact location, and the evidence is more surprising than one might think. In the next video, we will investigate where is the Tower of Babel today, the discovery that could change everything. So, if you want to understand the secrets behind this construction and discover the clues that could reveal its whereabouts, turn on notifications and follow this new investigation. Are you ready for this revelation? See you there.